There is still no intro for this podcast because I haven't thought of something creative yet, so this is still going to be the intro of just me talking out of nowhere. I thought one interesting thing to talk about was what it's like doing YouTube and Twitch and how it's always weird starting something new. Because I've noticed with YouTube and Twitch, whenever you record a video or you live stream or do anything like that, it's weird the first few times. It's always like, okay, I'm recording myself, I've got to be entertaining, or okay, I'm live right now, people can see me, I've got to be entertaining. And it's always kind of strange to do it for the first time because you're kind of talking to yourself, but also talking to people who are there. But because you're small, people might not be there. But first, it's normally that you're okay, this is weird, but you get used to it, and YouTube and Twitch starts becoming easier and easier. But I've noticed after that, the next step is when you're making a video and you have to voice over something where it's like, oh, this was happening here. Or if you're doing a video where the entire video is you talking in the video and it's like a voiceover the entire way through. That's always a weird hurdle to get over. I've noticed that me and your guy Rivet had the same thing with it, where when I was first doing a video about a tier list of drama from the COD Zombies community, I remember it was so weird to just talk, and you can hear in the video how I'm just not at all used to it, and it's weird and stuff. But then you'll look at my later videos, and I'm much more prominent in speaking, and like I'm not hiding, I'm being loud about it. And then I've noticed with your guy Rivet, a friend of mine who also does YouTube and stuff. He'll leave in like the funny takes of where he's like, "Yo, it's your guy Rivet," and he's like, "Oh no, no, not doing that. That one's stupid." Or he'll do like, "It's your boy, your guy." No, that just doesn't sound right. Like he'll do stuff like that, which is funny. But it's like it's every time you get into it, it's like okay, this is gonna take a while to get used to. I've noticed it's the exact same thing with the podcast. I've recorded with friends, I've recorded by myself, I've done Twitch streams by myself, I've done Twitch streams with friends. Like, I've done all this stuff, I've done videos where I have to do voiceovers, and it's always like, okay, it's weird at first, but then I get used to it. And it's the same thing with this. I still get uncomfortable to press the start recording button, even though I know no one's gonna see it if I don't want them to. So it's just kind of like it's a weird thing every time there's something new to do with video making or audio making or anything like that. It's always this weird, you have to get used to it before you can actually be pretty good about it. But other than that, I've got a few things written down again, and one thing I've noticed with my dogs that's really funny. What a great segue, by the way. What's really funny is I have a lab, I have a King Charles Spaniel, and then I have two long-haired Dachshunds or Dachshunds, whatever the one they are. They're very small dogs, but the lab constantly tries to hump the King Charles Spaniel, and we always like smack him and say no, stop it, and whatnot. But he's done that so much that one of the long-haired Dachshunds has learned what that is. Well, not what it is, but learned how to do it. And she constantly tries to play with the King Charles Spaniel, but the King Charles Spaniel is so lazy, doesn't want to do anything, constantly gets annoyed, and she'll just be sitting there, and the long-haired Dachshund will jump on top of her, start humping her, and she's a smaller dog, so it's really goofy. I remember I was in the kitchen once, just sitting there, and I looked down at my dog, and the King Charles Spaniel was just looking at me with these sad, sad eyes, while the long-haired Dachshund had jumped onto her on her back and was trying to hump her. And it's like a very big size difference. So it's just goofy every time you see it. It actually reminds me, I saw a video earlier today of Shaquille O'Neal, I think, or Shaq, whatever one he goes by, I don't know. The baseball. Nope, I've messed up both sports. The basketball guy. You can tell I don't watch sports at all because I'm garbage with them. But he was doing some news thing when I saw a YouTube short of it, and it was talking about it was talking about his breakfast and what he normally has for a breakfast. And the video just like starts off with like the newscasters and like, oh, you got a chance to talk with Shaq and like talk about his meal, and he's like, oh yes, I did. It was very interesting. And then it cuts to like in the house with his girlfriend, And the girl's like, "Oh, we make a big breakfast for him because he loves them." And then it just cuts over because you hear knocking the entire time, and it cuts over and it's Shaq in the window, like making funny faces and stuff, and just kind of like being weird in front of the window outside. And the woman goes, "Yep, that's our 7 foot tall beast we have to feed." And everybody in the comments was like, "Yup, you used the right words for that," while he's making funny faces out the window. Shaq's a very interesting guy. He a lot of stuff he does is really weird to me, but also like respectable. But also I don't like it's just weird. He does stuff where it's like he has a lot of money and he was like dumb with his money at first. He knows that, I'm pretty sure. And he says he's done dumb stuff, but he would like move into apartments or hotels for like games and stuff. And because he was making so much money and he didn't want to wait for his stuff to get moved, he would just buy furniture at like a Walmart or something. Like he'll buy lampshades or he'll go to like a Home Depot or not a Home Depot, but like a Bed Bath and Beyond and just buy chairs and stuff to furnish the room how he wants it because he's too lazy to wait for his other furniture to get there. And it's like, God, how does someone make that much money? But like after a while he's like realized that wasn't smart. But he started being smart about his money and he's got this rule with his kids that his kids have to get like 2 degrees or 2 PhDs or something like that. They have to like I think it's 2 degrees, but they have to make like a lot of time in college before they can even touch his money. And it's like, okay, that makes sense, but like 2 degrees? Really? I don't even think I would want to get 1 degree right now because college is stupid to me. It's like you're paying to go like the best thing college has is learning how to live on your own and hanging out with other people. Which I'm down for hanging out with other people, but it's college kids first of all, so it can't be that exciting to hang out with them or that fun. But then like it's classes, it's 99% of classes you don't care about, going at like annoying times, then you've got to like do a minimum job wage that sucks probably. It's just all this stuff that it's just like it's not worth it. I'd much rather do something else, aka this, for any amount of time and see if it works out or anything like that. Speaking of like college and stuff, I had a really bad teacher once in third grade, I think it was. Who I'm not gonna say her name, but she did have a nickname. I don't think I can. It was Miss. No, I won't say it. But the nickname was totally contradictory to how she was. She was probably the worst teacher I've ever had. She just like didn't seem like she wanted to be a teacher. I remember there was a few incidents with her where I was just like, this is the worst teacher ever. I remember at the start of the year, she promised, hey, we've got little name tags on our cubbies out there and like name tags on your desk. If you do not ruin them and the name tags stay fine and we don't have to get you a replacement or anything, I will give you a piece of candy at the end of the year. And the end of the year rolled around and I asked her about it and she just like shooed me off. And I was so like, you, you lied. How could this, a teacher lying? No, how could this be? So I was super shocked about that, even though it's pretty obvious that she was going to lie. But not only did she do that, she did, I remember I brought Pokemon cards to school once to like trade with a friend. And she took them away from me, and it wasn't like class had just started, and she took mine away, and like because I couldn't put them away in time, and she took them and then never gave them back. I never got them back, and it was like I don't know much about Pokemon anymore, but I think I had a good card, but I never saw that card again, and that card might be worth like millions of dollars today. I don't even know, but I'll never see it again because she took it from me. And then I also don't think she liked me at all because I corrected her on math before. It was those, oh, everybody said at the whiteboard and the whiteboard do your thing and stuff, but I was sitting there and she did the math problem and I was always the stupid nerd kid who was like, oh, I'll do the problem too in my head. And I remember sitting there and going, wait a minute. 5 10 find it into the math and wait a minute, that's not right. And I raised my hand. I was like, that it should be this, not it should be 16, not 18. And she's like, no, I did it right. You're wrong. And then everybody else was like, wait a minute. No, it is. It is. And she's like, oh, okay, I see where I went wrong. Yep, it's this. And she just, I'm pretty sure she gave me like a death glare afterwards. I remember every time I talked to a kid, they did not like her. I remember she once called out a kid in the middle of class for picking his nose, which was like super. It's like understandable. Like you're in third grade, you shouldn't pick your nose. But she like called him out in the middle of class. Like I saw what you just did. You picked your nose. That was disgusting. Go wash your hands. And the kid had to go up and like go to the sink and wash his hands and stuff. And it's like, God, you're really gonna embarrass him like that? You could have just said. You could have just said, hey, you need to wash your hands or something like that, like not fully given the story. But no, she just went all in on this kid for no reason. And even in third grade, I was like, that was kind of harsh, I feel like. But she was just not that great of a teacher, I don't think. I did have a really cool teacher in fifth grade, though. He was awesome. He actually seemed like he wanted to teach. I was in this weird school in like Nebraska or Iowa or something where the way they did it was there were sections to the school. Each school had like a section that was first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, all the way up to fifth grade and stuff. But the way they did it was the section would have four. It was like one big room that had four rooms on the inside of it. So it was like each room was like triangle, and you could walk. It's hard to explain. The middle of the room was like the teacher area was the middle of the room, and then you could walk from bottom left to top, and then top to bottom right, and then on the like the very edges of it, there would be the classrooms, and there's no door to the classroom. There's just walls, so you could just like walk in and out of each classroom as you pleased, and just get around easily like that. But the way they did it was each teacher had their own separate class for each subject for some reason, where you had your homeroom teacher, who in fifth grade, my teacher was awesome, but then you would have a different math, you would move like sections to the math teacher or the science teacher or the history teacher, and it was always weird because I remembered I had the math teacher all the way on this side of the building, and then I'd have the science teacher on this side of the building, but then my history teacher was my homeroom teacher. It was just kind of weird how they did it, but it worked pretty well. And I remember that teacher was awesome. I remember he gave me and my family some, what are they called? Little breakfast things that are like really sweet cinnamon rolls. He made like his wife made some homemade cinnamon rolls and gave them to us. And they are the best cinnamon rolls I have ever had. And they did that because she gave them to the kids whose parents like came in and helped with stuff like cutting paper, and that's about all the parents did. I don't think I actually know a single thing the parents did other than like cut paper out for the teachers and print stuff. So they're pretty useless. But we did get cinnamon rolls for it. And those were the best cinnamon rolls I ever had. Like, I don't know why they were so good, but they just were. And we repaid him by my mom growing zucchini, and for some reason she could grow like mutant zucchini that was like a foot long. So I came to school with a bag of like three zucchini that was like a foot long and gave them to him. Like, my mom said to give this to you. Here you go. And it was a super weird gift that made no sense, but he was like, "Oh, thank you so much," and super appreciative about it. And it was not at all that good of a gift. I remember also for some reason, I guess this is when kids start learning about politics, and like fifth grade, and this was also like the year Trump was getting elected, I guess. Um, but like kids were just starting to be like, "Oh, hey, politics are a thing," which isn't very interesting. But I remember I used to like argue with friends, like goofy stuff. Like we wouldn't care that much about it, but we just be like, you're wrong. Nope, you're wrong, and all this stuff. But for some reason, the class had an obsession with knowing which way he thought politically wise. If he was right, left, up, down, top right, top left, crisscross applesauce. We were just like super obsessed. We'd always ask him, and he actually said it himself that he would tell us on the last day of school which way he like politically aligned and stuff, and he never did. And everyone was super upset about it, but it was funny. That was the last time I also saw that school because I was moving the summer of fifth grade. Like after fifth grade, I was moving in the summer, and it was super weird because nobody really knew. I always like to move without telling anybody, so everybody's like, "Where the hell did that kid go?" I knew that kid somewhat, but like just disappeared. But we went to like a high school thing where it was we went to the high school to like learn about the high school, I guess. And it was like, oh, if you take a class, you'll go here, and here's kind of what the schedule's like, and here's some of the teachers you might meet. And then we had lunchtime, and it was like, okay, if you're not going to this school, because it was like there was two different high schools you could go to. And it was like, if you're not going to the school, head over here, and we've got little lunches for you and stuff. And it wasn't like they were like homemade lunches, and like kids brought their own lunches and stuff. And then it was like, okay, if you are going to this high school, you can actually eat at the high school and like eat the lunch that the high school lunch ladies make. And I remember everyone grabbed like 50 different things. Like there was rolls, there was bananas, there was like Trix yogurt and stuff. Everybody just grabbed as much as they could. It's weird to think about, but I think elementary school was honestly worse than high school and middle school. Because I don't know what it was about it, but elementary school was just boring and annoying. Like, I was always the kid who got like three good friends, and then just didn't care to meet anyone else. I was just too lazy to do it. I was like, I got three guys to hang out with. If they're not here, then I ain't hanging out with no one. But then in middle school and high school, there's more classes and stuff, so you gotta like mix around more. But middle school was like, it was still boring. High school and middle school are still boring because it's just I was the kid who finished stuff early and then sat on his phone because they let you do that now. If you just finish your assignments early, they're like, "Hey, you finish your homework, you finish your assignment," and it's like, "Yep, okay, then fine, sit on your phone, do what you want." But it was just so weird to think about that. Middle school was more entertaining because I guess I don't know. It might have been I stayed at middle school and high school longer because once I moved back to Texas, I stayed in Texas and haven't moved since. But in elementary school, I was moving like once every 1 or 2 years because my dad's job. But it's weird to think about that. Was it more fun to go to middle school and high school than elementary school? Elementary school also had like the worst of the worst brats. I remember there was just so many kids that just like they lived off getting annoying. Oh my god, I just remembered the biggest betrayal I ever had as a kid. I remember it was like science, we're watching a video and there's some kids next to me and we got a substitute teacher and the kids just wouldn't shut up. They kept talking to each other. And it got to a point where the teacher was like, "What's your name?" to the kids. And like they said their names and then she pointed at me and goes, "What's your name?" And I'm like, I wasn't talking to them. "What's your name?" "Aiden." But I wasn't talking to them. And then I got in trouble later with my actual teacher, and he was like, "Here, I was saying the entire time like I wasn't talking, I wasn't a part of it. I don't know why I'm here." And then the other kids were saying something, but they were like, but he was like, "See, the issue is no one's confessing up here, so you're all in trouble. Like no one's actually owning up to it." And the entire time I was fuming because I didn't speak a word. It was the biggest betrayal ever. I said nothing. I got in trouble, and that was the moment I knew. Don't trust elementary kids. They're all lying little brats who try to stab you in the back. Elementary school is like prison. You gotta find the biggest one and beat them up. Doesn't matter if you're the teacher, if you're the kid, if you're the principal, if you're the janitor. Find the biggest kid, beat him up. That was a cool fifth grade though. I remember there was a trip to like some campsite thing that had like a zip line. It was like I think it was like a camp lodge area thing. I don't know. It was like an end of the year trip, and I remember a lot of kids not being able to go because they were like troublemakers and stuff, and I just kind of laughed at them. But it was really cool. There was like I don't know. There was zip lines and like I actually remember it now. There was a campfire I remember going over and just like sitting by with a bunch of other kids, and I sit in it, and the wind's blowing the smoke in my face, so I get up and like move to a different spot, and as soon as I sit, the wind blows the smoke into my face where I moved to, and it kept following me and kept throwing it in my face, and I couldn't breathe half the time. Middle school was interesting though, because I was a little brat in middle school too, probably. I wasn't like rude or anything. I just got up to mischievous things as a friends. I remember as soon as I got in art class, it was the first day there, and I saw a group of kids at a table, and I was like, "Yup, those are the troublemakers I'm not gonna like the entire year." I immediately sat by them and became their friends, so that was good. But I remember in PE, I met a kid named Jordan, And it was really funny because he did so much stupid stuff that would just backfire onto me. I remember once we were sitting in the gym and we were bored and we are like, "Oh, hey, let's go get our phones from the locker room." And so we like go over to the side of the bleachers where the what are they called? Gym coaches can't see us, and we go ahead and like open the door and then go to the lockers and we get our phones and we head back and we're pressing on the door and it's not opening and we're like, oh god, we're in so much trouble, oh god, we're dead. And so we start like knocking on the door and stuff, and luckily there were some kids who were under the bleachers who heard us and opened the door, and we're like, what are you guys doing out there? And we're like, nothing. And we slipped in and we are like, oh my god, that was so lucky. And so we start like going to the bleacher and stuff, and then we get called over. They're like, hey, you two, get over here. And we're like, oh god, oh god. And they're like, why are you guys under the bleachers? You shouldn't be under the bleachers. And we're like, and I just like was able to come up with a lie on the spot. I was like, we weren't under the bleachers. We heard and saw some kids, and we were seeing what they were doing. There were some other kids over there, and they're like, "There's other kids over there," and I was like, "Yeah, there's other kids over there. We didn't do anything." And so they got up and went over and like yelled at the other kids, and we got away scot free. That gym class was weird. I remember the same friend actually had psychic abilities somehow once, just once, only once. We were playing dodgeball. We were on one side. We were at the very back, too, because we were just talking bored. He's looking away from the other team. I'm looking at the other team, and we're talking to each other. And he's, like, in front of me, and all of a sudden, he just ducks. No, like, noise played. No one was like, oh, duck. Just nothing at all. He just ducks. As soon as he drops, a ball comes flying from behind his head and nails me right in the face. And I've got glasses, so getting hit in the face with a dodgeball with glasses is painful. Because then you get like, not only is your face getting crushed by a little plastic ball that goes boom every time it hits you, it shoves the glasses into your head. And for some reason, everyone saw this. I don't know if the enemy team was like, oh, that kid's not looking at us, let's nail him in the back of the head. But as soon as I got hit, I hear everybody go, oh, and stuff. Because, like, I got hit, you see my glasses go flying and stuff. But he just, like, gets up and is like, are you okay? And I'm like, screw you. How'd you know that was going to happen? That's not fair. And I had to go sit on the sideline out and stuff. But he still talks about it to his day with friends. I still talk about it. I don't know what prompted him to. He doesn't know what prompted him to. All I know is that he ducked and I got nailed in the face for it. And it was stupid. The gym coaches also didn't like the kids at all. I don't think the gym coaches like being gym coaches at all. Because there's another friend of ours, your guy Rivet, actually, him. We were just like sitting in the place because they make you sit on the floor while doing attendance and stuff. And so we're sitting on the floor and all of a sudden he gets a nosebleed. And he's like, I'm getting it. I need to like go get paper towels. I'm getting a nosebleed. It's like something needs to happen. And the teacher's like, all right, go get paper towels and clean that up. Like he was upset with him that he was having a nosebleed on his gym floor. Like he didn't say it like, oh okay, yeah, go get a paper towel. He's like, oh, get a paper towel, clean it up. Like he was not happy with him. And we never knew why. Like, he just didn't like most kids, actually. I mean, most kids were brats. I remember another time playing dodgeball. I was standing in the bleachers, and some kid I, like, barely knew was he was, like, picking up the balls to put them away. I was standing in the bleachers. I was like, pass me a ball. And he just, like, I was, like, waving my arms and stuff at him. And he just chucked it right into my groin. And it hits me right in the dead center, and I just collapse. And my friend next to me, of course, he's laughing. But the kid's like, he just walks away like nothing happened. He knew what he was doing. He aimed for that. And I was like, why? I don't even know you that much. Like, what did I do to annoy you? I didn't even hit you during game. I didn't even hit you during the game. Why would you do this to me? So yeah, most kids were horrible in middle school. I remember people would try to pay me to swear. I wasn't a big swearer. I didn't like swearing. I never swore. And so, like, they would try to they'd be like, all right, I'll give you $1 if you swear. No. I'll give you $5 if you swear. No. I'll give you $10 if you swear. And it was like, they just kept upping the price trying to get me to swear. They really didn't go over like $20, $25, but they just wanted to hear me swear for some reason. A little nerd. And apparently this was a universal thing because in like 7th grade, some black kid was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you the N-word pass because I want to hear what it sounds like when you say the N-word. I just want to hear what you sound like saying the N-word. I think it'd be really interesting." I wouldn't do it. It was the end of the year too, so I could have just done it and gone. But he was like, come on, just do it. I'm giving you the pass here. We just want to hear what you say, what you sound like saying it." And I was like, no, I'm really good. I'd rather not get beat up for something. That gym class also had a kind of a black market soda dealer, I guess. He would come to school with like a big old bag, like a one of those lunchbox bags that are like meant to be cooling on the inside, and he'd have like 20 bottles of like not bottles, like cans of like Dr. Pepper or Coke or Mountain Dew. Like you could go to him and buy whatever you like, whatever drink you wanted from him. I only did it once, but I think he was charging like I don't know, $2, $3 per can or something like that. But he was making serious money off of it, and then they had to shut it down. There was a lot of illegal like black market dealings, I guess, at that school. I knew one kid who was like the smartest kid in the school. He would pay, or people would pay him to do their homework, and he was perfectly fine with it because he would finish it super easily and stuff like that. Or he would have the same homework and he would just like write his answers down. But they would pay him like $20 for a page of homework, and he was making serious money. And then his some teacher found out and they shut down the rink. They got him. Everybody got in trouble for it, and they all had to like shut down their business. No more shady dealings under the school bell before it rang. There was a lot of goofy stuff going on in that school. Now that I think back to it, in middle school, I think one of our principals had a fake leg. Apparently, I don't know if that's true or not, but like the kids would be like, "Oh, he has a fake leg. He showed us it in class," and I was like, "No, no way that happened." And it like nothing really ever pointed out that maybe he did, but like he would. They were like, "Oh, look at the way he walks. He walks funny, doesn't he?" I was like, "I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of a walk. I wouldn't call it a funny walk or anything like that." But then I remember for some reason there was this big craze in like for 1 week of middle school to do patty cake as fast as possible. So I remember in lunch lines, like we would I remember me and a friend would do patty cake just as fast as possible, like progressively getting faster and faster until someone screwed it up. And we just do that for fun because it's stupid fun. And I remember he was looking at us once like, I need to get the principal actually came over and was like, "Do I need to get you little girls some dolls too to play with that?" And we were like, no, we're good. We're just, doing our thing, being normal middle schoolers playing patty cake in the lunch line because we're stupid. Us being middle schoolers too also got like egos as we got older. It's always 6th graders are the runts, 7th graders go unavoided, eighth graders rule the hallways. And I don't know why. It was like everybody in middle school sucked no matter what. So I don't know why it mattered what grade you were in, but it was always weird. I also had that same friend I played patty cake with. He would consistently take photos of me when I wasn't looking, and then I would steal his phone and then just be surprised by the fact that he has all these photos of me. Like I remember one time he took a photo of me and there was a meme going on like, "Oh my god, so and so," like it was just some made up scenario where it's like, "Oh my," like they put a character in a scenario and it's like, "Oh my god, so and so has AirPods in. He can't hear us. Look out for the car," or something like that. And he just like took a photo of me randomly and I didn't even realize, and he drew AirPods in my ear and then put a like photoshopped a gun on the screen and said, "Oh my god, he can't hear us. He's got AirPods in," and stuff like that. But he would just like have camera rolls of people he just takes photos of without them knowing. And he wasn't gay, so it wasn't like for a pleasure thing. He would just have these way too long of camera, like what are they called? Not the camera rolls, but like when you could like portfolios, I guess, of different things. And he would just have people out of nowhere, and I'd take his photo. I'm like, wait, I don't even think you're in the same class in this photo. How did you get this photo? Like, I don't even have the same. Is this me in the bathroom? How did you get this one? Like, just always super confused on how he was getting all of these. Sometimes I'd catch him, but most of the times I wouldn't. Middle school sucks in general. That's what I'm trying to get at here. In the end, all of it all, school sucks. It's not fun. do drugs, drop out, uh, snort shredded paper of like math homework that'll make you smarter. And what's another good tip? Oh yeah, like blend all the pencils together and drink them, and you'll get like better handwriting.